In A Song of Ice and Fire, we all know the saying, with every death comes a new Reddit shitpost explaining how they survived by warging some inanimate object somewhere. But seriously, there are a lot of alternate survival theories, and today we're going to look at all of them and re-explore every character that we think might be dead, and see how they actually may have survived. I created this handy little tier list here, and we're going to go through each of these characters from the 5 books and before to see who might be coming back. When I went about making this list, I created 7 different tiers, with most dead at the very bottom and most likely to return or be revived at the very top. At the very top, we have the Undying Flames, kind of Melisandre or Beric level immortality. Then we have What Do We Say to the God of Death? Not Today next. Then we have What Is Dead May Never Die as probably going to return, but not that sure. Then we have the Targaryen coin flip in the middle. Then we have Partly Dead, Mostly Dead, and All Dead as the 3 levels of likelihood to be dead. As a reference to another book that was poorly adapted into film, though the film still turned out to be sort of alright. Alright, so to start off, we have Azor Ahai and Nissa Nissa. Now, the likelihood of their return is kind of wrapped up in technicality. Personally, I like to think that the Azor Ahai legend is nothing, it's baseless. And it seems like most prophecy in the world of Ice and Fire is baseless and kind of manipulates people into fulfilling them. So I think we'll see the Azor Ahai, Lightbringer, Nissa Nissa legend carried out in a way that's self-fulfilling, that's someone will fit it somehow. But the likelihood that he's reincarnated, like Melisandre says about Stannis, does not seem likely. And since the comment came and we didn't get the prince that was promised, really, I find it unlikely that he is going to return. So I'm going to put him in the Partly Dead tier. It's possible that we're getting a resurrection with, if Jon gets resurrected, maybe the spirit goes into him. But there's a lot of theories out there, and we're really not that sure. All right, continuing on in chronological order here, we got the Night King, who was an old Stark commander of the Night's Watch who took another as his bride and sort of began the alliance between the Starks and the others. As for his survival, it's unlikely. It's possible he's cold hands. In fact, that's the most likely of the survival theories. It's also possible he's somehow dwelling down in the crypts of Winterfell or something. But his return is certainly more likely than that of Azor Ahai, but not high enough that we can say for certain that he's coming back. I would say he's cold hands, so I'm going to put him there. Next up is Alice Westhill, better known as Alyssa Farman. She sailed around the world, kind of the Columbus of Westeros, found 3 islands, and rumor has it that her ship was spotted in Asshai many years after her ship disappeared. So it's very likely she sailed around the world, but this was hundreds of years ago. So it's unlikely that she's still alive. However, sailing around the world does make you immortal. Just ask Magellan. And if she's in Asshai and went far to the west and east, she easily could have uncovered some secret legends. I like to think that she's Quaithe, though that's not a popular theory. So we're going to put her down here. Next up is Shiera Seastar, the much more popular opinion to be Quaithe. And because we've seen Bloodraven return, her return seems quite likely and implied. We know that she's able to preserve her youth through magic, and she's not as far off as Alyssa Farman. So I'm going to put her up here. She is probably going to return somehow, even if it's not explicitly stated. Next up is Rhaegar Targaryen, and gosh, some of these survival theories are dumb. There's really no good one for Rhaegar. There's one that he's somehow a time-traveling Dawn, and there's something weird with the weirwoods outside of the Tower of Joy, apparently, if they exist. Like, people really do a lot of gymnastics to make all their crap. I'm just going to say that no, no, no. Next up is Ashara Dayne, definitely the mother of Jon Snow, in my opinion. But her and her child, the likelihood of their return seems quite likely. Martin himself has explicitly stated that her body was never found, and that her death or supposed suicide is very questionable. We have a few possibilities on her return as well. Her being Quaithe is highly, highly unlikely, but her being Septa Lemore seems quite possible, though it's still not probable that she's Lemore. She could just be chilling out somewhere. There's a lot of mystery around her. She's very enigmatic, and despite being mentioned only about a dozen times in the entire series, she retains a lot of mystery, and whoever her child is easily could still be alive. So I'm going to put her up there out of personal preference. Probably wrong. It's probably a toss-up, but I'm going to leave it there. Next up is Arthur Dane. There's a few whack theories on his survivability. One really funny one is that Ned let him join the Night's Watch and then he became Mance Rayder. But I don't see that happening. His death is Germ's very symbolic showing of kind of the death of the noble knight who lives in service of his king. And it's kind of clear that he was stabbed in the back, and that's how he went out. Not a very fitting end. Next up, I have a picture of young Griff, but this is referring, of course, to Aegon VI Targaryen, the son of Elia and Rhaegar. His survivability, gosh, is questionable. Mountain killed a baby, we know. We got a picture of that down here. Mountain killed a baby, and Varys claims to have swapped the baby out, but that doesn't make much sense. And it makes much more sense that young Griff is not a Targaryen, but he very well could be. It's very easily possible that Varys is telling the truth about that. So we don't know. I'm going to put him in coin flip. I like to think that young Griff is legit, and that's how he survived. But if young Griff is not legitimate, there are very few theories, and there's no good explanations on how he could have survived. So I'm going to actually move him down to partly dead. Next up is Gerion Lannister. We're just about to get to the start of the books. Tyrion's lost uncle searching for the Lannister Valyrian steel sword. And there's a surprising good deal of evidence that he is still alive, though he might not return in our narrative. The timelines work out with how he fathered and went about his voyages, but going to Valyria, the ruins of Valyria, is not good for your survival prospects. Maybe Euron interacted with him at some point because Euron has this mystical horned dragon binder. But the best theory of his return is the Shrouded Lord. Both share a lot of similarities and laughter and appearance. The Shrouded Lord is kind of hidden. But I think he's alive somehow, though we might not see him at any point. Again, just another door that Germ left open. In fact, almost every character death that's not explicit or a big plot point is deliberately left open and vague. Next up, we're now in the series. So we have Syrio Forel, who I love to think is totally alive and definitely going to make it, but we're not that sure. Cersei's dismissive comments of him later when discussing how Arya Stark got away makes it seem as though they took care of him. There's a few theories of how he could have made it. He could be a faceless man that turned into Meryn Trant, but that means that he beat Sansa Stark, and that's not cool for him. There's a few theories that he's Jaqen. Doesn't really work. The only similarities they have are that they're Braavosi. And it's not really who Syrio is. But, again, Germ left the door open. Totally possible. So I'm going to put it here. We don't know. Yeah. Next up is Benjen Stark, who is out chilling north of the Wall. If he was dead, we would have found his body. Now the question is he a White? Is he a White Walker? Is he Cold Hands? No, he's not Cold Hands. Martin himself has explicitly denied that. Or could he be joking? Ooh. Benjen is alive. He's not Dario. That's one of the dumbest theories I've ever heard. But he's coming back. We all know it. He could be dead, but he's coming back. Next up is Ned Stark, and yeah, his death was pretty concrete, if you ask me. And yet, a lot of people think he survived by warging ice or a flock of pigeons. Okay, I shouldn't say a lot of people, but the internet's a weird place. The fact is, these theories don't matter, as both of them would have him dying a second death shortly after. So, he's all dead. All of his wargings have left him dead, and you can't warg an inanimate object, guys. Next up is Rygo, and talk about doors left open, by George R.R. Martin. Mary Mazdur says that Rygo came out kind of looking like this, with dragon wings and rotting flesh, but is he out chilling somewhere? Is the vision that Dany had in the House of Undying of him living real? Probably not. He's probably dead. But the door's open and he could return. We're putting it down there. Next up is the Mountain, who is dead. Like, everyone knows he's dead. His head has been shipped to Dorne, or has it? There's a school in Dorne that's very big, but there aren't many big people in Westeros. And the fact is, the poison and the impalement was definitely fatal. So, Robert Strong, is it him? Well, Robert Strong is just a cobbled together animation kind of necromantic thing made with the Mountain's body, sure, but I'm pretty sure that the head used is not going to be the Mountain's. Dany has a vision in the House of the Undying of giant knight, but inside the helmet is nothing but black blood, basically. So his return, if you don't have your head, you're not who you are. He could have one of Jaime's hands. He could have Robb Stark's head. There's a lot of weird theories around what the Sir Robert Strong actually is, but his return as actually the Mountain, I view as unlikely, but is still an easy possibility. Next up is Renly. I need to fire my script writer. Alright, he's dead. Moving on. No, I do find it interesting that there's two instances where Martin specifically leads us to believe that maybe Renly's ghost is moving around. The first is when Tywin shows up and relieves the siege at the Battle of the Blackwater, and everyone says it's Lord Renly's ghost. And then the second one is when Brienne's chilling at an inn and Gendry comes out and she freaks out and thinks it's Renly. Weird, but no, Renly's dead. Weird. Next is Robb Stark, and, well, yeah, he's dead, but this one shouldn't be as dismissive as a few others, just because Lady Stoneheart has his crown and people think that maybe he somehow warged Catelyn, or someone like Beric, and then Beric transferred his life into Catelyn, and then it's very complicated. Also, the man who freed Grey Wind disappeared into the night, and we all know Robb Stark warged Grey Wind, but did Grey Wind warg into this man, and is Robb Stark roaming the Riverlands, ready to reclaim his crown? Okay, that's definitely not happening, but it's fun to dream. This is why we have the all dead tier. Next up is Pate. Pate's dead. I mean, Pate's not, but Jaqen is Pate. You know what I'm talking about. I mean, I feel bad for him. He got dead. The Hound. We all know the Hound is the Gravedigger. The evidence for that is pretty overwhelming. Sure, the man at the Quiet Isle says that the Hound is dead, but Sandor is someone other than the Hound, especially in the way that the priests use death very metaphorically. There's some direct hints, such as this man who completely matches the Hound's description and injuries, petting a dog. We all know it's Sandor. Is he going to come back and kill Unmountain? Probably not, but he could. Next up is Jojen and Mira Reed. And while Jojen Paste is a popular theory, I like to think that if one of them is dead, both of them are dead. And it's probable that Mira is surviving somehow. Jojen has green dreams and is resigned to his fate, but kind of in a very passive and paradoxical way, as if he has no automation in his own life or death, much to the disappointment of Mira. So he is very probably dead, and Mira is going to be either way. We don't know. Next up is Quentin. He is currently riding a dragon and going to win the Battle of Steel. Yes. Okay, a lot of people think he's completely dead now, and that's that. And I would, while unfortunately that is true, probably, I do want to think that he's still alive. And there is a few possibilities of this case. The problem is all of the survival theories really hinge on him being able to ride a dragon, which doesn't seem a possibility, seeing as he went down to these two feral and very angry teenage dragons with a whip and tried to ride one while on fire. That doesn't seem possible, but the body that Barristan sees die does not appear to be Quentin's for a few reasons, with the injuries not matching. But we're not sure. We'll know when or if TWOW comes out, but he's probably dead. Next up is Rickon Stark. I'm going to go ahead and put him up here. The only reason I had him on this list is because he's on an island filled with cannibals and unicorns and possibly a cannibalistic dragon, literally named Cannibal. So he could be dead. I mean, Davos could show up and be like, oh, Rickon's dead. And that wouldn't be past Martin, be honest. I mean, he'd totally do that to us. But I think he's coming back. And I don't really know that anyone disagrees with me. An ultimate guy is Jon Snow, who is dead. Well, maybe not. He's been stabbed in the stomach. Maybe he's in a coma, and maybe Mel or Ghost is going to rush down and defend the body, and it's going to heal. But he's very probably dead given the severity of his injuries. However, there's a lot of evidence for his resurrection, and if you choose to believe that he's Azor Ahai, Westerosi Jesus, gonna promise one and deliver everyone and rule the Seven Kingdoms in all perfection, he's totally coming back. There's no way he can do that while being dead. I mean, he's at the wall with Melisandre, who has plenty of access to King's Blood. There's no way that he's staying dead, and even if he does, he's going to be resurrected as a White or White Walker, which would be interesting, but is unlikely. But he's coming back. Next up is Stannis. Stannis the Manus, the true king that no one seems to care about. So the funny thing about Stannis is we got the pink letter, right, that says he's been killed in 7 days of battle, which is a little surprising because, I mean, we're all pretty sure that Stannis is going to win the battle on ice. It's possible that he loses, but gosh, it seems likely that he's going to win with the Manderleys and Freys hating each other and the Night Lamp theory and his, you know, he has plenty of advantages, and I don't see the Freys and Boltons holding on to power much longer in the North. Granted, that might not be under Stannis' liberation. However, the pink letter seems to be sent before the pre-release TWOW sample chapter, which has Stannis very well alive and totally kicking ass and being awesome. So his survivability is very likely. The timelines are kind of hard to keep straight here, and that's kind of what this hinges on. Is the pink letter true and sent after Stannis' sample chapter? Are we going to open TWOW and is Stannis going to be dead pretty quickly? We don't know. But I say he's coming back. Well, and that's everything. We got around 25 characters here, all who are officially dead or vanished, but we have varying levels of certainty on who's coming back and who's not. If we take the top 10 here, yeah, this looks pretty consistent. The Hound, all of these characters are widely held to return, and I can't wait for TWOW. I'm sure I missed a bunch of people, so please comment below and tell me who I missed, and I might be able to make another one of these if I missed enough people. There's a lot of deaths out there and so many open doors. If you look at them, more than half of these have open door deaths. Thank you all for watching. Do whatever you want to do. See you next time.